Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 2 of MyGM Mode here on WWE 2k23. As today we have our first shows we are going to book as the general manager of Monday Night Raw. In case you missed it, last episode we drafted our roster, as we'll actually go and take a look at that right here. As you can see, here is how our roster is. We drafted about 15 superstars, and we put our WWE Champion as Roman Reigns and our Raw Women's Champion as Bayley. I think we drafted a pretty good field here as we look to take down SmackDown, as I think we put ourselves in a very good chance. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to book our first 2 shows of the season. As the way this will work is it'll be basically a just kind of point and click kind of mode. We are not going to watch any of the matches. We're not going to play any of the matches. It's just going to kind of simulate them all and just hopefully get some progress done that way. But we'll do about 2 episodes or 2 shows in 1 episode, and then of course for PLEs we'll make that its own show. That's kind of how this series will run. So today we'll have weeks 1 and weeks 2. The first half of the build to our first PLE. But I hope you guys are ready for this one and this series and more 2K content on the channel. If you are, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more MyGM content. Also, something I forgot to mention in episode number 1, but you saw it flash on the screen, I'm actually partnered with Rogue Energy. So if you are very interested in buying some Rogue Energy, make sure you use my affiliation link down below, as well as code Mr. Rob, and you can receive 10% off your purchase, as well as help benefit the channel. So it's just a plus for both, so why not? Let's go ahead and get into it. Today we have our first couple of shows, and our first commissioner goal here is to ensure that your least popular available specialist is in a match this week. So I'll go ahead and book the show, and then we will obviously fulfill that and see how we do. Now, before we go ahead and book our first show, here's a list of the current free agents available. This screen will change as the season goes on. Some superstars will be available some weeks, some will not. As you can see right now, Big Cody Rhodes is a free agent. Somehow went undrafted in the WWE draft. And while I'd love to add Cody Rhodes to our roster, we unfortunately don't have the money to bring the American Nightmare to Monday Night Raw. As you can see, our budget's only $69,000 for this week. We got to produce a couple of shows, so that is probably not going to happen. But I do want to sign a free agent, and I think people who are very important to my GM are these people at the bottom, these kind of jobbers, yes, you could say. As they could, yes, they don't have a lot of popularity, so you're not going to get the best stars of those matches, but more than likely they do lose. You better hope that they lose and don't win a match. But they could help propel one of your other superstars into higher popularity. So I think, if you're trying to build a young star, you're trying to get some guy a popularity, you don't want to sacrifice it to somebody else. I think having a jobber, so to speak, could go a long way of doing that. And we're actually going to sign one here. We're going to sign a male jobber in order to help some of our superstars. And I think the only male jobber that I do like is Dewey Carter. Here for only $40,000, you get him permanently. He's got 34 pop. Yes, he's a 1-star power, but nonetheless, we are going to sign Dewey Carter as our first official signing. I know it's so exciting that he's on our roster, but I think it is important to do in the long run. Alright, so we have our first show booked up here for Monday Night Raw. Here's a look at the card. We're going to open it up with the Rated R Superstar Edge versus Sami Zayn in a 1-on-1 contest. Our GM goal for the week, our commissioner goal, for this episode is to get our lowest rated specialist in a match, and Edge is actually our lowest rated specialist, so I thought why not put him in the opener against Sami Zayn in order to produce hopefully is a decent match to start. Then we're going to have Asuka call out Bayley. Bayley is the Raw Women's Champion. I do think this is our first women's feud. I think it'll be a good one. Asuka and Bayley for the title, so you might as well get that rivalry going, because there's one thing about MyGM Mode is that rivalries are crucial in order to beat your opponent. Your opponent is going to spam certain match types and certain matches over and over and over again. And honestly, to keep up, it's kind of what you have to do. You kind of have to do the same thing. You have to build these rivalries, so get these superstars interacting, even if it's facing each other week in and week out. It's what you got to do. So we're going to get our first one going. Asuka and Bayley, Raw Women's Championship. Asuka will call out the role model. Then the aforementioned Dewey Carter will go up against Gunther, and I pray that Gunther is able to win this match because I do have high hopes for Gunther, so I want to get him a win right off the rip. We need some money. We have only $29,000 to budget right now, and especially since we just bought Dewey Carter, so we need Kevin Owens to do a little advertising for us, hopefully get us some more cash. And then Akira Tozawa versus Randy Orton. Like I said in the draft video, we drafted Akira Tozawa, very interesting selection, you would think, but he's got 50 pop, which is actually a lot. So he's a heel. I'm hoping he can just lose here and give Randy Orton some of that as well, as he only has 58. Hopefully get Orton back to one of our top tier stars, and potentially could be a feud for Roman Reigns in the future. Speaking of Roman Reigns, Shinsuke Nakamura will call out Roman. I think this is going to be our first feud. These are two highest popularity stars. They have opposite classes, which means they will hopefully gel well, even though Roman for some reason is not very happy right now, but hopefully his morale will not really hurt us. So Shinsuke Nakamura will call out Roman Reigns. That'll be our WWE Championship feud going into SummerSlam. And then our main event, we're going to have a championship match in our first episode of Monday Night Raw. Bayley will put the Raw Women's Championship on the line against Liv Morgan. We'll see what will happen in that one. So let's confirm our booking. Yes, we have already selected everything we can. Yes, it'll be in a high school gym. You got to start small somewhere, as hopefully we can get a good show in Portland, Oregon. So welcome to your first show. Welcome to your show. Here you can choose to simulate, spectate, or even play matches. This is where viewers will come to rate the matches and promos you booked. Don't be surprised if they're your harsh critics. If you're in a rush, feel free to simulate the entire show by pushing triangle. We will not simulate the whole show, but we will simulate everything one at a time. So hopefully we can start off on a good note. Edge versus Sami Zayn. And I'm hoping Edge wins. Yes, Edge does pick up the win over Sami Zayn. It was a mediocre 2-star match. Xavier Woods says, determining match rating, there are many things fans consider when rating your matches. Things like class and role matchups, match types, popularity, and more. You may not have received the rating you wanted, but try out a combination of different things. I know you'll get it done. It looks like these superstars are in a rivalry, so we did start a rivalry between Edge and Sami Zayn. Not sure how much we'll actually continue that rivalry. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. We'll see what happens there. Any future matchups have a chance of leveling up the rivalries, which will result in better ratings. The max level of a rivalry is 4. Any rivalry of 3 or 4 will conclude at a PLE match with a quality bonus. Persisting with a rivalry of 4 outside of a PLE can cause fans to lose interest. So it's kind of like that teeter kind of. You don't want to push it too much, but you also don't want to end it too early. So they are at a level 1 rivalry now. But Edge gets the win in a 2-star matchup. We'll keep it going. Asuka calls out Bayley, and hopefully does get a rivalry there. It looked like she did. I kind of simulated through that. But Asuka did successfully call out Bayley, so did kickstart that rivalry. Gunther versus Dewey Carter. Please, Gunther, win this match. Okay, Gunther is able to beat the Jobber. This is a 2-star match, so I guess that's not terrible for a Jobber matchup. Let's see. Kevin Owens did an excellent promo. Got us $11,000. Kevin Owens, that is why you are so reliable. You can just get us cash like that. Yes, you lose 1 popularity, but I think 1 pop for $11,000 is what we need right now. Akira Tozawa versus Randy Orton. Kind of the same thing. Please, Randy Orton, win this match. I do not want Akira Tozawa to win. And Akira Tozawa did indeed win. 1.5 disappointing. I would agree. I was hoping Randy Orton would win that matchup, but that's what you get when you simulate the matches. Shinsuke calls out Roman Reigns. It was an okay promo, but it did level up the rivalry, so it did get what we wanted to do. And in the main event, Raw Women's Championship on the line. Liv Morgan takes on Bayley, and it looks like we have a retain as Bayley is able to knock off Liv Morgan. And it doesn't look like we had a rivalry between them. That's fine because we have Asuka and Bayley as our Raw Women's Championship rivalry. But 2 stars, okay. Overall, I think it was a pretty decent show. We'll see what SmackDown has in store. They're going to start off with Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler in a 1-on-1 contest. As it looks like Xia Li will be the winner of that one. And that got a 2-star matchup. So right now we're about tit for tat with SmackDown. Doudrop has a self-promo. Apparently it was okay, but she did gain 2 pops, so good for her. We have a tag team match. Angelo Dawkins and R-Truth will be teaming up. Is this a new incarnation of the Street Profits? It's funny because they have Montez for their disposal, and he's in the main event, but nonetheless. Theory and MVP, it's not a horrible combination. I think MVP could be a good manager, and if they want to put him in Theory, why not? So we'll simulate that tag team matchup for them. It looks like the wins are going to go to R-Truth and Dawkins. That was a 1.5-star disappointing, so right now we're actually doing better than Friday Night SmackDown, believe it or not. Becky Lynch in the self-promo, though, she has an excellent 5 popularity. She is their biggest women's star they drafted, and she's showing why right there. Ivar versus Noam Dar, very interesting matchup here. Maybe just trying to build a star, and they do give Ivar the victory. 1.5 disappointing. And then self-promo Gigi Dolan, weak promo, went down 1. Not the best, what you want to see there. But it's time for their main event. They're going to crown their first SmackDown Tag Team Champions. John Cena will team up with Montez Ford. That is a charismatic rivalry, to say the least, as they'll take on Robert Roode and Finn Balor. Not sure how this is already a rivalry because this is week 1, but nonetheless, I'm sure they will do phenomenally. And Robert Roode and Finn Balor actually win, and it was a 3.5-star great match. They did kill us in the main event and crown new tag team champions. John Cena is not a double champion here today. That'll conclude the week 1. The post-show breakdown, here's where we begin to break down the show. The graph on the right displays the drama curve. To get the best match card quality score, you'll want your matches to try and follow the drama curve as closely as possible. To get more information about each individual match, including popularity gains, stamina losses, and rivalry information, select any match. We did decent at the beginning, but they kind of blew us out of the water in the end with that extra star in the main event. But we did beat them in 1 mid-card match. But openers and main events are what you want your highest matches to be, so they definitely beat us in that regard. We had good booking. It says your opener main event were the highlights of your shows. It could be focused on raising the quality of your matches for higher show results. Will do. And we kickstarted a couple of rivalries. While SmackDown, they obviously had the good main event. They started that rivalry, and that was it for week 1. We'll see what happens here. Here's the breakdown of how you gain fans. Hint, it's all about the rating score. Noted. To do that, you'll want to get high at show quality and match card score, as well as have a decent amount of star power. All that will be calculated into your rating score, and all that will determine how many fans you'll gain with your show. And all of your fans will stick around. The retention rate will vary from week to week, and that will determine how many fans you'll carry over the previous week. You can gain fans from promos and advertisements. Fans gain from shakeups, specific match types, and power cards are included in the other fan bonus line. Keep an eye out for messages from the commissioner. He'll let you know if your retention rate is going to rise or drop in the coming weeks. Xavier, you got a lot of information here. You can see how many fans you gained or lost prior to the start of the week. One thing to know is that may ease your stress is that you'll never lose more than 10% of your viewers. We call those diehard fans. Thanks, my diehard fans. All right, we know how to earn money. We know about ticket sales. I'm not going to read all that. Xavier wants to have a whole spiel. All we know is at the end of the day, we gained 29,599 fans. We had a D show in terms of, that's not what you want to see, viewership with C match quality. And then we gained $69,035. That's what we need. We need some money as well. And welcome Raw's newest punching bag, Dewey Carter. Concert GMNA. I am glad you see it for what it is, because he is indeed a punching bag. We'll see how SmackDown did. They gained 38,509 fans. They blew us out of the water, the fans, that game. Or in that week, they had 56,000 in revenue. So SmackDown pulled a little bit of a lead, but we did accomplish our commissioner goal. We got a power card. It's a free arena booking. Any arena show logistic book this week will be free. So that's good to hold on to, especially when we start to unlock the bigger venues and not just wrestling in gyms and concert halls. And so it looks like right now SmackDown is number 1 by 9,000 fans. They must have a lot more money than we do. Oh, they didn't mention it, but their Universal Champion is John Cena as well, and their Women's Champion is Becky Lynch. So they're going with a strategy of just putting the titles on their top stars. So now it gets into week 2, San Diego, California. Triple H is hitting our DMs. He's saying, make sure you're matching up superstars who pair well against each other of fighting. Cesaro versus Orton was a bit of a mismatch. I guess it was a mismatch the wrong way. Remember that Giants pair very well with cruiserweights, fighters pair best against bruisers, and specialists put on a reasonable match against any class. That's not to say you can't use other pairings, and sometimes you'll need to meet a commissioner goal or satisfy one of your superstars' demands, but keep your best matches in mind, especially when planning out the rivalries. Yeah, I did know that, but that'll get us to week 2, as we'll do week 2 in the second half of this video. Our commissioner goal for this week is have at least one tables match this week, so we're going to get extreme. I'll go ahead and book the show, and I'll see you after I have it booked. Alright, so here's a look at our second show. First match we're going to have is we're going to have Asuka versus Bayley. We started the rivalry last week, so it'll be a non-title matchup, but I do think having them kickstart the show with the rivalry could probably get us the best outcome in that regard. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to cut a self-promo, considering he is going to be our first in line for a world title match. I think trying to boost his popularity as much as possible is probably the best idea. Our commissioner goal is having a tables match this week, so we're going to run it back. Orton versus Tozawa in a tables match. Hopefully Orton just puts it behind through a table with an RKO. Rule change, Sami Zayn is currently a heel. I am going to turn him face. I think having him team up with Kevin Owens, who more on later, could be a good tag division as well as some rivalries kind of going. So I think we're going to role change him. And we're going to have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. I want to give these two women something to do, and we're going to give them a match. If they kickstart rivalry, good. If they don't, we could pivot and go somewhere else. But we're going to put them two together. Last week we had Nakamura call out Roman Reigns, so this week we're going to have Reigns call out Nakamura. Just kind of keep the feud going without putting Reigns in a match. And then our main event, we're going to crown our first United States champion. It's an Extreme Rules match. Gunther versus Kevin Owens. One man will walk out with the U.S. title. Pretty solid show, I have to say. So let's go ahead and confirm it. We're still staying in the gym. We could be in the concert hall if we wanted to, but we're just going to keep it in the gym just to save a couple of bucks. So start off with the show, Asuka versus Bayley, the first match of the night, and the win goes to Asuka, so she picks up the non-title victory in a good match. That's what you love to see to start the show. I think Asuka has earned the rights for a championship match in the future. Nakamura cuts a okay promo, so he gains 1 pop. I can't be too mad at that. Any popularity change for Nakamura in the good is a plus. Our tables match, Orton versus Tozawa. Hopefully Orton is able to win this match, and he does. So yes, Orton gets his win back. Don't know if we'll do Orton versus Tozawa 3, considering that was a 1.5 star matchup, and it cost us $5,000 to do that, so we might just kill that there. Sami Zayn goes okay, but he does get the role change, so Zayn is now a face. And then Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. We'll simulate that match, and the winner will be Rhea Ripley. That's kind of who I wanted to win anyway. 1.5 star, disappointing, so after a good opener, we're kind of struggling here a little bit, and then it kick off a rivalry, so that as well. Roman Reigns calls out Nakamura, gets excellent. It says it's a new rivalry. I thought that rivalry already happened last week. Oh well, I guess not. So, nonetheless, the rivalry has started. And then our main event, United States Championship on the line, Extreme Rules match, Gunther versus Kevin Owens. The first ever U.S. champion here in GM mode is Kevin Owens. He beats Gunther in a good match, and he is the new U.S. champion. Kind of wanted Gunther to win that match, but oh well, we'll see what happens with Kevin Owens with the championship. Maybe he has a long reign, maybe he doesn't. But it was a good match, so we had 2 good matches in the beginning and the end, and the middle was not very good, so interesting combination there. Here's like a SmackDown's show. They are in the concert hall, so they've upgraded. They start off with Balor and Dawkins for the Intercontinental Championships. They're putting the titles on a lot of different people, and one of them will walk out with the Intercontinental Championship. Plus, it is a rivalry, and it's actually Angelo Dawkins. So Dawkins is the first IC champ for SmackDown. It was a 3.5 star great match. So they did beat us in our opener. It was also a tables match, so they got that one done. Montez Ford had a charity promo, 5,000 fans. That is a big plus for SmackDown. Haven't utilized that at all so far. R-Truth versus Theory. This is a rivalry as well. R-Truth will win. It'll probably beat our 1.5 star match. Yeah, I got 2.5 stars. So SmackDown definitely killing us so far. Bliss with a self promo gets an excellent, so she gains +4 pop. That is huge for SmackDown. And then tag team action, Becky Lynch and Xia Li versus Gigi Dolan and Shayna Baszler. This is not a rivalry that could potentially save us. The team of Lynch and Lee wins. It was 2 stars, so it does still be our 3rd match of the night. Universal Champ John Cena cuts a promo. His is only good, so Alexa Bliss cut a better promo than John Cena. When are you ever going to see that? But he gains 3 pop. And then the main event is a steel cage match. Yes, this is the kind of matches that SmackDown will put on. Your main event is a steel cage match between Noam Dar and Ivar. I would love to see that show. But nonetheless, Ivar does win and does get a 3.5 star matchup. So that was better than our U.S. Championship match between Owens and Gunther. Yes, that is my GM mode in a nutshell. That's why it's hard to beat the CPU realistically, but we gotta do what we gotta do. This week we obviously got smoked in all facets of the game, so not a good week for us. But we did get Asuka and Bayley to a level 2 rivalry, as well as Reigns and Nakamura started a rivalry. So we had a couple of positives in our show. Overall, we gained 35,000 fans, and we gained $24,000 in revenue, while SmackDown gained 52,000 fans. So that was a massive week for SmackDown. And they still gained in the positives, so like $8,700. So they definitely are beating us. But we did get another power card at To The Moon, only usable on superstars with less than 60 popularity, plus 15 popular to a superstar after the next match. So that could actually be a very important power card as we try to maybe build a star. But here's where we stand. SmackDown now leading by 27,000 fans after 2 weeks. So it's not a good week 2. But we're continuing our trip to SummerSlam on the West Coast, San Francisco, California. Looks like we actually got a couple of messages as well, as might have to do with superstar morale. As David West tells us, it's up to you to navigate through each conversation, making the choices you think are best. You'll learn that a superstar's morale can go up and down depending on how the conversation goes. So Jey Uso's going first. He says, "Good old San Francisco. Time to get my adoring fans what they want. I better be on the card tonight or they'll be hell to pay Adam." Yeah, we haven't booked Jey Uso yet. I think getting him on the show is definitely doable. Gunther says Owens cheated in his last match. I want a rematch in the next 2 weeks. Sure, maybe he did cheat, maybe he did not, but we'll give it to Gunther. So I think that sounds reasonable, and maybe we can get an Owens-Gunther feud going. So we'll appease him, probably do a rematch in the coming weeks, try to get that rivalry going, and that'll be our mid-card rivalry. So just like that pops up. That's going to do it for this episode as we get the first 2 weeks of Raw done in MyGM Mode. Next episode will be the next 2 shows, followed by the SummerSlam PLE. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for the support here on the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 900 subscribers. It means we'll be closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more MyGM content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.